The lion that plays the guitar. The lion, king of woods, didn't have a son to continue his family and kingdom, so that he was very unhappy. If he had a son, his son would grow up in a few years' time and walk around in the woods throwing his mane into the air. When he roared to keep the security of the woods, all the criminals or the ones who were getting ready to commit a crime would look for a place to hide as they got frightened of his voice and his power. Why didn't he have a son to leave his crown and kingdom? He didn't even have a single relative or a child of a relative to whom he might teach how to be a king or manage the woods, and who can be the king after he get older. The king must be noble and aristocrat. It wasn't easy to be a king. Anybody who wants to be a king couldn't manage the woods. He should have noble descendants. If the king made an ordinary lion the king, there would be some problems, because that lion might be unable to manage all the animals that lived in his kingdom, which might cause a chaos and the rebellion would break up, and this might result in death of lots of animals. The king of the woods thought that he should leave his kingdom and his crown to a lion which was from his family, otherwise he would not be relaxed. So that he decided to check out his family tree once more, much more carefully. He agreed on controlling every detail about his father, his grandfather and his other relatives in details. I must find a lion that is noble. He made lots of researches for a very long time, and as a result he found out some new information about his family. 4 generations ago, when the king left his kingdom to his elder son, the younger one got really upset and that he abandoned the kingdom. While searching for some information about his family, he learned that this lion started to live in a very far away wood which was called Grandeur. He started a new life which was very simple there. He couldn't find any other information about what had happened to that lion afterwards. The king invited the fox to his palace and told him about all those things. Then the king wanted the fox to make an investigation if he could find any of his relatives in that woods, and also he ordered him to bring the youngest and talented one with him to the king's palace. The fox wasn't going to tell anyone about his journey to any other animals, otherwise it was going to be killed. When the fox reached the Grandeur woods, he saw a small group of people who were listening to a small lion playing the guitar. The fox was really surprised because he had never seen a lion playing the guitar before. And the lion was playing it very well. He wanted to see the lion's performance and listen to him from a nearer place, so that he walked along through the crowds and took a seat at the first row. Now he could hear the sound of the guitar much better. He listened to the lion playing his guitar for a while, and as a result he thought that it was such a talented lion. He wanted to listen to the lion's concert till the morning, but it was impossible because when it got dark the lion ended his concert and thanked to those who were listening to his concert. The fox was really impressed, and it was the best performance he had ever seen and listened to. The next day the fox started his investigation to find out something about what had happened to the youngest son of the king that had left his homeland many years ago. He talked to each of the animals and asked them if they knew anything about that lion and what might have happened to him, if he had any sons or if he died alone without having a family and children of his own. But he couldn't find the answers of these questions because none of the animals that he talked to didn't give him a clear explanation. They all told him that they didn't know anything about that lion and his story. The fox's investigation took 10 days, and in the end a very old lion confessed that he knew something about the lion that he was trying to get some information about. There was only one lion that survived and all the others had died, and that was the lion playing the guitar when he first arrived in those woods. It wasn't very difficult to find that lion for the fox. He was again giving a concert at the same place. When the concert ended, the fox went beside the lion and told him that he was sent there by the king of the woods and that the king had heard about that talented lion, so that invited him to give a concert in his palace. The lion accepted the king's invitation and set off his journey with the fox to go to the palace. When they arrived at the palace, the fox firstly showed the lion his room and then went to talk to the king about what had happened in details. Fortunately, a lion that was noble and coming from the royal family had been found. What is more, it was really talented. But his being able to play the guitar surprised the king, and he also thought that it was very strange for a lion to play the guitar. After having dinner in the dining room of the palace, the lion started his concert. All the animals that were listening to his concert in the palace were fascinated. Everybody thought that he had supernatural powers, as if a magical hand was playing the guitar, and sometimes the lion was also singing while playing his guitar, and that was really unbelievable. Day after day, as the king got to know the lion, he started to love him much more. He was noble, honored, well-informed, besides he was respectful and cultured. Moreover, he was the king's cousin. What else would be expected from a lion that was going to be the king? The king decided to leave his kingdom to this lion. But the king couldn't find a way to explain this situation to him. It was very difficult for the king to do this. The days were passing by, but the king couldn't talk to the lion about his intention. Fortunately, he could find the courage in himself to talk to the lion all about. And he told him every detail. Here is the family tree, and these are the names or our grandparents that were the kings before. When my grandfather was requested as a king after his father, your grandfather left the palace and moved to grander woods. And you are the only one who survives of his descendants. I mean, you are my cousin, and you are the only one who will be the king after I die. The lion wasn't surprised when he heard what the king had told him. He had listened to those stories from his father many times. He told the king that he had known everything. The king congratulated the lion because of his honesty. He might have pretended as if he didn't know anything, but he didn't do so. As a result, the king was so honored because of having a cousin like him, and he was very pleased that he could find the right lion to leave his kingdom.